Oh. Fuck it. Using my phone camera as a mirror on my unshaved face with the blue lipstick. This is going to be a short one, but look, I've got water, and yes, I'm resting my head on a watered up towel. Why? Because the young man I'm cohabitating with caused me to trip again today, and I twisted my ankle, and I try to avoid pain medication if I can at all, and I basically decided that I was going to wait until I couldn't do anything before I took any, so my ankle really hurts. Thankfully, my knee is still in the state it was, which is generally trying to heal, and oh well, right? Such is life, such is life. I didn't trip over him again today, but I tripped over his crap that he left on the floor, and I tripped over it while I was picking up after him, because I need to have the floor, devoid of things so that I can do my other things, like my crafting things, and practicing my harmonium, and other things like that. Don't really need the floor cleared off to sing. It was also supposed to be a vacuuming day, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Guess who can't do that right now due to ankle pain? Hopefully I'll be able to do that before he gets home. That would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice, but will it happen? Who knows? So, more adventures with my pained body. I had an idea what I wanted to talk about, but I didn't script myself out. There we go. Don't want that getting all bent out of shape, do I? I could probably replace the wire. Oh, I could easily replace the wire. So, while I'm trying to think of what I wanted to talk about, let me show you. This is my favorite necklace that I ever made for myself, and this is not going anywhere. This is definitely one that is my own personal private collection, because this is my wisdom teeth. There's one in here, and then there's the whole one down here, and then there's a little bit of one at the bottom there, and I only have 3, because on this side, the upper molar, school bullies, I was about 11, I believe, and somebody basically hit me really hard in the face, and a molar cracked. So that got pulled because, like a huge chunk of it came off, and it's like, it's gonna rot if we don't take it out. And so the tooth there came down and filled in the space. And the reason that only one of them is whole is because, well, this one down here, that basically was rotting a bit because my mouth was too small to clean it properly. There's another bit of it in here, but you can't see it for the bottle it's in. And then this one, the one that's mostly whole, is the one, like, you see it's a really clean break on there. Yeah, you can see it's a really clean break that it had, and that is because of the way that they had to cut inside my cheek on this side. I can still sort of feel the scar. No, wait, that's the other scar. Oh, there I go. Yeah, I can still sort of feel a scar back there from when they had to cut into my cheek to get this one out. And this one came out whole, but there wasn't any room for it, so, you know, they just took it out with the other three. And they did not get, they didn't even come in until I was about 25, and in theory, I didn't even think I had them. Very, very rare number of people, very small number of people don't even get them because, you know, you don't actually need them. In fact, most people's mouths are too small for them. Mine is very, very small. I'm only 4'11", so, you know, proportionately, I'm quite small. Even for a fat person, I'm quite small. So, speaking of fat person, I've got an entire box of the Quorn brand chicken-like nuggets in the oven, so I'm going to keep this short because I only got them in there for 15 minutes. Now, closer to 12 or 13 minutes. More like 11 or 12 minutes now. And the reason I'm doing the entire box is because I don't really have anything I can do on the side, and it's one of the smaller boxes, so I think it was like 2 servings. Oh well, there are certainly worse things I could overeat a bit of. But yeah, so I don't really have anything I could do on the side, so, you know, if you're going to overeat on some nutrient or another, protein's a better thing to overeat on than a lot of other things, right? Yeah, but, where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with this. Oh, my teeth. So, when I was 17 and left home, just before I was 18, I went in for dental x-rays, and so yeah, just before I was 18, I went in for dental x-rays, and they didn't even see them, so I guess they were that far up enough into my head that, like, in the dental x-rays, like, my wisdom teeth weren't even showing, and they didn't come down until I was about 25, and they got pulled a couple of years later when I was 28. So, oh, yay! 10-year anniversary this year for my teeth. I didn't do the necklace until a few years ago. They've just been kind of traveling around with me. You know, with the, in a bottle. So yeah, yeah, that was about it. That was about it. That, you know, they weren't supposed to be there. Then it turned out they were there, and it took a few years. Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. So, speaking of getting them out, I wasn't even supposed to get them out. Like, Medicare will not cover it, and I was still on Medicaid at the time, which I still need to reapply for. I was getting it on low income before, but then my cost of living increase with Social Security disability brought me literally $1 over their cutoff for low income Medicaid, which is the state. Medicare is federal, and it's part of Social Security. Medicaid is state, and that's a different entity which takes care of that. So I don't get Medicaid, but I get Medicare. Medicare does not cover dental. Medicaid, depending on your state, will cover dental, but only certain procedures, and wisdom teeth extraction is seen as an elective procedure, so a lot of times it's not covered, unless your teeth are literally, like, rotting out. I only had one that was kind of rotting, but, you know, the dentist was like, no, this your mouth is too small. I don't know how you're not in extreme pain. I'm like, I'm in extreme pain in my back, and that was the same year I was diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome in my wrist. So I'm like, I'm in pain all day anyway, so some mouth pain, it only happened when, it only became, like, really remarkable. So she's like, these gotta come out, it's gonna cause you so many troubles later, so she was, so she found a way to hopefully get Medicaid to bill it, and she still recommended, because of my anxiety disorder, to get me the nitrous oxide, but that wouldn't have been covered at all. But no, it would have been like an $80 copay, and a friend of mine gave me that $80, and she's just like, here, happy Christmas, because it was I want to say it was late November, so like just after Thanksgiving or something, and so it was sort of like a Christmas, right? Oh shit, there's my food. I'll be back. Yes, I was that one weird child at McDonald's as a kid who got the chicken nuggets with honey. I still like it that way. So of course I get my vegetarian nugget-like substance. So, wisdom teeth, right. So, my friend, she sent me the $80 for the nitrous oxide. Just because of my anxiety disorder and the dentist, she wanted to play it safe, just because, I'm stressed out in the chair while the teeth are being pulled, because that's typically not something, like, unless they have to, like, drill your jaw open or something to get them out, like, like cut your jaw to get them out or something. That's not something they usually put you under for. Well, she did have to cut into my cheek. That's, that wasn't so much that, it was worth putting me under, so, I'm there with the nitrous, and I paid for that on my way out. But beforehand, so I get in and I check in, and they say that there's something up with the insurance. They're trying to contest this. So they're saying, no, they're trying to contest this, but don't worry, your teeth are going to get pulled today. And I later found out that the dentist, she just paid for it out of her own pocket to get my teeth done. Now, after I got my teeth pulled, that was when the fun happens. So, if you've still got your wisdom teeth, and you expect to have them pulled, or if they haven't dropped yet, and you think you might end up having to get them pulled. Excuse me. I had a friend who recently had hers pulled, and she's decided to live on protein shakes, or she did decide to live on protein shakes. I hope she's back on solid food. She had them pulled in March, I believe. So, if you haven't had your wisdom teeth pulled yet, and you may need to, or you fear you may need to, a relatively small number of people end up keeping them, and they don't rot out and fall out on their own. But, the main reason they get pulled is, just for pain management, basically, that, it's, and, in a small number of cases, but more often than is comfortable for me to call rare, they get an abscess, and that can cause an infection. and so they'll get an abscess with it, which is an infection, and you do definitely want to get them taken out when they've got an abscess, because that could cause meningitis. So, just due to the proximity to the inside of your skull, right? And meningitis is an infection in your cerebral fluid. If I'm not completely correct on that, I mean, obviously I'm just, truncating the explanation. But let me back that up just a little bit. So, the fun part happened after I was healing. So, you can't have solid food for, they say, a minimum of a week. I was more like 2 weeks. I was not able to eat solid food. I was able to eat instant mashed potatoes, which are not good mashed potatoes. The kind that, you get the little dried flakes, and you add them to boiling water, maybe add a little bit of butter. That's the shit I was eating. Like, not good mashed potatoes that you make with the, with the applesauce mill. I was able to eat yogurt. I discovered that I do really like Greek yogurt, over the more runny kind. I was not a fan of yogurt until I got my wisdom teeth pulled, and when that's really, like, your primary source of protein, you learn to like it, right? I was able to eat cottage cheese about 6 days in, just because that's a little lumpier, you might want to chew it. I did get all the ice cream in the world I could eat, to reference one of my favorite comedy albums, which I'm not going to tell you by who, because there will be somebody bitching at me if I said, yes, he's that kind of problematic. And so take your guesses. If you know, you know. Yeah, I did get all the ice cream in the world I could eat. But, I was living with my ex, Scott, the one who doesn't give a shit if I name him. And I want to say about 10 days in, because remember, I said that I couldn't eat solid food for about 2 weeks. Because it was, yeah, the inside of your mouth is a mucous membrane, which usually heals relatively fast, right? Just because of, like, how intense it had to be in there, and on this side, like I said, they had to cut into my cheek, so that took me a little bit longer. Then what happened? So, I'm living with Scott, and it's about 10 days in, and I come into his room. We had separate rooms. Like, we were already exes at that point, just, roommates. One of those odd breakups where we just decided, this isn't going to work. I mean, that's the short version. I might give a story time for the full version, but oh well. All that's necessary right now is to know that I came into his room like 3 times. And then, once I got there, I immediately forgot what I needed. Or what I wanted to say to him, or what I needed. I still don't remember what it was that I needed or wanted to say to him that day. 3 times in a row. By the 4th time in a row, and this is in less than 15 minutes, Scott just suddenly, stops playing his video game, and says, "Why are you being so loopy and out of it today?" And possibly the first, coherent thought I had all day that day was, because I haven't had solid food in a week and a half, can you get off my dick right now? And it takes him a second, but you can see the light suddenly switch on. He's like, "Oh, yeah, that's right, you had your wisdom teeth out." And that is my first story time, and I hope you enjoyed it, and let's hope that my foot feels well enough that, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything else today. I think it's too late. Oh well. Oh well, kids. Bats and kisses. I love you all. Bye-bye.